They say the past always finds a way to resurface, but what happens when it returns with a vengeance, threatening to destroy the very bonds of love, trust, and family? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the heart-pounding drama that Days of Our Lives delivered in its June 26th episode, and believe us when we say, this is not one to miss. From baby switch bombshells to a potential new romance, Salem is boiling over with emotional tension. So sit back, take a deep breath, and let's unravel it all. It was supposed to be a night of miracles, two mothers giving birth to their babies, surrounded by hope and anticipation. But instead, chaos reigned. Lives were shattered, and what followed was a twisted deception that would echo for years. On that fateful night, Sarah Horton delivered a stillborn baby, while Kristen gave birth to a healthy daughter, Rachel. In a moment of blind desperation, Xander, driven by love, fear, and arrogance, made a horrific decision. He switched the babies. He handed Kristen's newborn daughter to Sarah, allowing her to believe Rachel was her own, while Kristen was cruelly led to believe her child had died. And so, for months, Sarah unknowingly nurtured a child that was never hers, while Kristen spiraled in grief, mourning a daughter who was very much alive. Now, years later, the long-buried truth is threatening to rise, and Rachel Black, no longer an infant, is beginning to question the missing pieces of her early life. What happens when a child, raised in a web of lies, starts to untangle the truth? What happens when Rachel discovers that Sarah, the woman who held her, bathed her, comforted her when she cried, wasn't her real mother, but might still feel like one? This isn't just about the past. This is about identity, loyalty, and the fragile balance between love and obsession. Kristen love for her daughter is intense, almost suffocating. Her maternal bond defines her. If Rachel were to drift emotionally toward Sarah, it would be a betrayal Kristen simply could not accept. Would Kristen lash out? Would she fight to reclaim her daughter's loyalty, even if it means destroying Sarah once and for all? This storyline has all the elements of tragedy and psychological warfare, and Rachel's emotional allegiance could be the match that lights the fire. In the wreckage of a failed marriage, Sarah Horton finds herself drowning, emotionally drained, heartbroken, and utterly alone. Her world with Xander, once built on promises and passion, is collapsing. And in this vulnerable state, a familiar face appears with unexpected kindness. Brady Black. When Brady reached out to Sarah, it seemed like a simple gesture, a compassionate man offering a shoulder to cry on. But in Salem, nothing is ever that simple. Sarah is raw, emotionally unguarded. Brady, too, is no stranger to heartbreak. He's endured betrayal, custody battles, and the toxic entanglements of Kristen. In each other, they may find not only solace, but the spark of something more. Could they actually fall for one another? The possibility alone is seismic, not just because it's unexpected, but because of who stands in the shadows, watching. Rachel has always been Kristen's fiercest supporter, especially when it comes to who her father is allowed to love. From Chloe Lane to Teresa Donovan, Rachel has made it clear, no woman replaces her mother. But Sarah? That's different. Rachel may not remember every moment from her infancy, but emotional imprints are powerful. Somewhere deep down, she knows Sarah. She felt safe with her, connected. So what happens if Rachel begins to root for Sarah? What if she, for the first time ever, sees her dad's girlfriend not as a threat, but as someone she already loves? That shift could dismantle everything Kristen believes she controls. Her daughter, her past, her hold over Brady. If Brady and Sarah grow closer, and if Rachel sides with them, Kristen won't just be angry. She'll be desperate, and in Kristen's world, desperation always leads to destruction. This isn't just a potential romance. It's the beginning of a firestorm. In the corporate shadows of Salem, where power changes hands with a smile and a knife in the back, two ambitious players are entering the arena: Johnny DiMera and Gabby Hernandez. Their meeting may have been labeled a brainstorming session, but make no mistake, this wasn't about ideas. It was about power, positioning, and perception. With DiMera Enterprises and Titan now intricately tied together, both Johnny and Gabby know that trust is a currency few can afford. Gabby, bold and brilliantly manipulative, has been underestimated before, but not anymore. She knows the game, and she plays it without apology. Johnny, on the other hand, is still reeling from recent events. His reputation is in tatters following accusations of attempted murder against his own father, E.J. Though the charges have faded into whispers, the damage to his credibility remains. That makes him vulnerable, and Gabby sees it. Their alliance, though tentative, is already charged with tension. There's chemistry, ambition, and mistrust all bubbling beneath the surface. On paper, they're allies. In reality, they're competitors. Each wants the upper hand. Each suspects the other of having a hidden agenda. And if history has taught us anything, it's this: partnerships in Salem rarely end peacefully. Could this connection evolve into something romantic? Possibly. Could it collapse into backstabbing betrayal? Almost certainly. Gabby and Johnny are like two loaded guns pointed at each other, smiling, charming, and waiting for the perfect moment to pull the trigger. Once, they were the couple that defied the odds, bound by passion, rebuilt from heartbreak, and determined to make their love last. But now, Sarah Horton and Xander Kyriakis are caught in a storm that may not leave anything standing. The heart of their unraveling? Little Victoria, a child both of them adore more than life itself, but who now sits at the center of an emotional custody battlefield. Xander, known for his ruthlessness and raw emotion, is starting to spiral. His past choices, from deception to violence, are no longer abstract memories. They're patterns Sarah can't ignore. The man who once claimed he would change for her is once again making questionable decisions, and Sarah is beginning to wonder whether his love for their daughter justifies the risk he brings into their lives. Sarah, meanwhile, is no longer the woman she was when she first fell for him. She's hardened by betrayal, wiser, protective. She's seen what Xander is capable of, and what it's like to pick up the pieces after one of his impulsive decisions. Now, every conversation turns into an argument. Every shared moment is shadowed by suspicion, and every glance carries the weight of unspoken fear. They're not just fighting for their daughter. They're fighting for themselves, for dignity, for closure, for the impossible dream that their love could survive this level of damage. But as tensions rise and emotions boil over, one question haunts every scene: will Xander go too far? Will this be the final fracture? The moment Sarah realizes she's not just in a troubled marriage, but trapped in something dangerous. The next steps they take could determine whether Victoria grows up in peace, or in a family torn apart by rage and regret. What would you do if you were Rachel Black and found out the truth about your past? Would you embrace Sarah, the woman who unknowingly loved and raised you? Or would your loyalty to Kristen shatter everything you thought you knew about family? Do you believe Sarah and Xander still have a future together? Or is it finally time for Sarah to walk away from the wreckage, maybe into the arms of someone like Brady, who knows all too well the scars that love can leave behind? And what about Johnny and Gabby? Could this unlikely alliance become Salem's most powerful couple? Or are we witnessing the first steps toward a betrayal that will rip their worlds apart? We want to hear your theories, predictions, and boldest takes. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Every insight matters. Smash that like button if this breakdown gave you chills or made you rethink what's coming next. And don't forget to subscribe and tap the notification bell, so you're first to know when the next shocking twist drops in Days of Our Lives. Thanks for watching, and remember, in Salem, nothing stays buried forever, especially not the truth.